Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Well, good morning to everybody in Arizona and across the nation that's listening today to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. My name is Alex Juarez. David Parra is off today. He's enjoying a little time off in California. Hopefully he's listening to the show and having a great time visiting family in California. David, enjoy your time over there. Say hi to the family. I am very lucky today. I am with three beautiful ladies in the studio. And we're also going to be having Abigail Support joining us from the East Coast. I believe she's in D.C. today. And today we have a very special show because we're going to be talking about an extremely topic in the Hispanic and the Latino community, which are finances. Finances in order. This is also a very glorious day here in Arizona and across the nation because we're still celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. So happy Hispanic Heritage Month to everybody across the nation. It is important for us to celebrate our accomplishments as Latinos, which we have many accomplishments to celebrate.
That's right.
So that's what we do here in the show in AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. We educate, we connect, and we celebrate the accomplishments of Latinos. So we're very excited to have these beautiful ladies in the show today. So again, Abigail Support will be joining us in a moment. But we also have Sandra Sáenz. Sandra Sáenz is with Dream Team Communications. We have Delia Aguirre, farmer's agent in Arizona. So thank you so much, Delia, for being here with us today. And Yoli Aleman Rodriguez. I've been friends with Yoli for many years. So I'm very grateful for you being here today, Yoli.
Excited to be here.
She's with State Farm. She's a State Farm agent. So thank you so much for being here. So, ladies, finances in order. Do we have our finances in order? I think that's the question, right?
We should. It's such a key topic that is so related, right, to every single thing that we do, to our goals, to our peace of mind. When I ask questions in the financial classes, a lot of the times when I say, what does money mean to you? How do you want to feel about money? And the word peace comes to mind. So when you have things in order, that gives you mental peace, and that's related to your health, that's related to your joy, related to your career, to so many things.
Absolutely.
So this is a key high priority topic in my opinion, right?
Absolutely. At AARP, we believe that is a very important topic, not only in the general population, but within the Hispanic community as well, and that's why we wanted to bring this topic. At AARP, we have a group, an employee resource group. It's called Adelante, which I'm part of it. And we're lucky to have great leadership in this group. We have Nicole Macias. She has led this group tremendously. She does a great job in it. With Christian Gonzalez as well. He's in the D.C. area. And we thought about putting this show together so it could be heard across the nation of the importance of Latinos and how we need to educate our young Latinos, the importance of saving for retirement, which I think is a critical and something that we as Latinos don't do a good job with it. But Adelante, we've been celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month since September 15th, and we'll go through October 15th as well throughout the month. We have a lot of different events that have kicked off, and we're celebrating our heritage, our culture, our accomplishments. So it's a great thing that we're doing at AARP, and hopefully many organizations across the nation are doing the same thing, because we have to tout ourselves. We've got to really say, hey, congratulations, Latinos. You guys are doing a good job, but we have to do even a better job in communicating and expressing all the accomplishments that we've had, because there's a lot of misconceptions about Latinos out there, and we've got to change that.
That's right.
And this is the way to do it, educating ourselves. Education, I think, is the key to that, to the success of Latinos.
Yes.
So we're very excited to do this show. And again, to our leadership in D.C., Thank you so much to everybody that has participated. Edna Kane Williams and Yvette Peña that have allowed us to put this platform together in Arizona. Dana Kennedy, she believes in the platform, believes in what we're trying to accomplish, reaching the acculturated Latinos and educating, serving as a platform for all Latinos across Arizona and hopefully across the nation as well. So thank you, ladies, for being here today. So let's start talking about the finances. Sandra, you already talked about the importance of it, but why, Yoli, why is it that critical that us as Latinos start at a young age that thinking about retirement, savings, planning? Why is it so critical?
It's interesting that you would start with a younger age, and these millennials nowadays they're on a different path altogether than the other guppy generations, Generation X, Generation Y, even Generation Y, and their ideas are very different than the Generation X. Say. Before, our parents, grandparents, they would stay with a company. How long? 30, 40 years. It was complete sheer loyalty. And through that, what would the parents have? They would have benefits. They would have life insurance, health. They would have everything to support the family unit. But as millennials, they're like, well, no, my dedication is not necessarily to a company. My dedication is mostly to get out there and make a difference in the world. I'm here to serve a purpose, and I need to find my purpose. And I may take a job, and this is pretty much the characterization, maybe for a few months, enough where I'm going to make enough money, and then I'm going to go serve my purpose or my cause or my function. So the benefits are not really carried with them. So it is critical that they find an agent, a company that they can really attach themselves to and ensure that if something does happen to them, they're going to be protected against all risks. We have multiple types of benefits via life insurance that can serve as a cash values, not only the death benefit, but accumulated cash values plus interest. So if they really are excited about a nonprofit organization they are serving, they could say, Yoli, you know what? I need a couple $1,000s from the policy I have saved up as. Or, you know what, Yoli, I really need to plan for my retirement with you. What options are available? Because I'm going to be working here or there. And specifically, maybe let's start with 10%, 15% of your income. Let's plan for your future. Like, what would we ask ourselves as mature professionals now? What advice can I give a younger Yoli or a younger, anybody here in this room, a younger Alex? You know what? Key is to save for the unexpected.
Absolutely.
Save for the risks that are ahead. Save for a wonderful retirement.
Sure. Delia, it all starts with education. Yes. What is happening with our Latino community in education and finances?
I think that our Latino community is aware of what they need to do. I think in the long run, they know I have to save for retirement. I should have life insurance. I should do this or I should do that. But what's keeping them from doing it, that's where the education comes in. A lot of times our Hispanic community members are not contributing to their 401ks in their jobs because they're not aware of how it works, how much should they put into it, how much they should be saving at a time, and that's where they need a professional to come in and work with them through that. Because many times our Hispanic community is so focused on the right now. Right now, my kids are in school. I need to pay for education. Right now, I have a mortgage. Right now, I have this. But they're not thinking ahead into the future as to how they're going to take care of their retirement. And that's where, talking to a professional is going to benefit them, because that's our responsibility, is to educate them through the process, take away the fear that they have. And sometimes it's just baby steps, starting little by little. Sometimes they get paralyzed into non-action because they feel, I'm never going to have that kind of money. So they just don't do anything.
Right.
instead of taking the baby steps necessary to start a retirement plan and be able to retire comfortably.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a
lot of
great
it is-
topic. Huh?
A lot of it is, she hit it right on the nail, because a lot of it is just awareness. I currently have I'm working with Trellis, which is a nonprofit housing organization, and we've had a couple of events specifically for millennials. And what happens is it's super interesting because their focus is very different.
Yes.
And it is on making a contribution in the world and on being fulfilled and living in the now. And so even the language that we use when we talk about financial literacy
the jargon, yeah.
is not even get educated, it's become aware.
Absolutely.
So we want to become aware, and they like that. They resonate with that much more. They don't like to be taught. They like to have partnerships. So I have like a list of 8 tips, and the very first one is get a partner to help you with your financial planning.
A buddy system, huh?
Yeah, like a buddy system,
like
and
that's
they
pretty- I like
seem
that.
to really like that because
Sandra, you may have hit something right there on the nail. Or
yeah,
just hit the
get
nail
your
right on the head there.
financial buddy.
A buddy system.
You know,
yeah.
and it has to be fun. It's got to be creative. There's got to be a lot of
yeah.
freedom involved.
Right.
And that's when I talk to them about having peace of mind and freedom. And that really resonates with somebody who's 28 to 32 years old.
Yeah.
Versus if I start talking about their retirement, they don't understand yet. And so we get to that point of how much more you can do with the finances that you have available, with what you're cultivating, that kind of thing, because they do resonate a lot with doing, you're right, Yoli, nonprofit work, and you're right about the education. Delia comes and speaks at some of our education classes as well. So
Absolutely.
she's
Absolutely.
familiar with the mentality, the mindset.
Yes.
It's a lot of it is that they're just not aware. So many times when we had our courses and our get-togethers, Talk to Trellis events, a lot of the comments were, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could have a house and pay less, and it's an investment, than what I'm paying for my apartment.
Yep.
And so we show them what they can do with that.
Ladies, we're going to have to go on a quick break. Thanks, everyone that's listening and watching. We will be right back. AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome back to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. This is Alex Juarez filling in for David Parra that took a very well-deserved time off in California. David, hope you're enjoying your time over there with family. Just don't think about work. Just have a good time. But
We're thinking
hopefully
of
your
you.
finances, David, are in order. And knowing David, I know his finances are completely in order.
That's why he could go to California.
Absolutely.
So
He
everybody
can take the
listening,
time off, right?
get your finances in order. You can go to California.
Absolutely. And again, I'm very lucky to have these 3 beautiful ladies here with me today. We have Sandra Sainz with Dream Team Communications.
Hi.
Delia Aguirre, also with Farmers Agency or Agent. And Yoli Aleman Rodriguez with State Farm as well. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here today.
Thank you.
Ladies, in the break, we talked about education, kids. It has to start at that age. It has to start when we're young. Parents need to instill in us the importance of saving. In school today, I don't think we have a class that really prepares our students for that. I remember taking a class back probably in the 70s about economics, about the importance of balancing a checkbook. I don't think that happens today. Does it start at school? Does it start at home? How
I
can
think
we balance
need to
it?
do both. We're talking about it yesterday at the office, and how some of these things, basic concepts, right, need to be started at the high schools. I mean, we don't even get it at the university level. I was doing a class last week at Ottawa University. So these are freshman university students, and something as basic in your financial output as we made a list of needs versus wants. There was arguments in that. What's a need and what's a want?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was somewhere very clear cut, right? Shelter, your house, your car. It was a need. When we got to cell phones, that was a big topic of discussion. Is it a need or a want to have the latest iPhone? Is it a need or is it a want? Somewhere, oh, that's a total need, you know? So basic things like this so that you know the value of planning and of planning for your current lifestyle and planning for your future needs to start at the schools and at home as well. And we're changing too. The Hispanic community, I believe, is changing too. I remember when I was young, I wasn't taught how to plan my budget or anything like that. So it's really important.
I have to be just so grateful for my parents that from a very, very young age, they put into perspective what it was to save. And most importantly, to save and live well below your means. And what happens when you would go out and spend more than what you earn? It's going to be a miserable life, make no mistake. So it's stressful, and trying to keep up with the Jones and all the American, quote unquote, synchronicities that we have. It shouldn't be that way. It should be that we're putting our 10-15% away as soon as you get into college. It should be taught at school. It should be taught, most importantly, within the family unit, because those should be some of the life lessons that you learn as a child to become a prosperous adult. What happens when you can't balance a checkbook?
Exactly.
Or that you're writing out more checks than what your balance is. Those fees, bank fees, are what? $35, $40, $50. It can get to the point where you're bouncing checks and you can be arrested for that. And the consequences from not learning that at an early age could be truly devastating for the rest of your life, specifically when your FICO score accounts not only to buy insurance, but also to buy cars, to buy homes, to buy basically anything. That you need. If you have a bad credit to begin with, that is not going to land you to anything productive, financially productive for the rest of your life. An employer can even say, based on your record that you have of high debt ratios and bankruptcies and whatever else you may have, you are a big risk to this organization. And I'm going to go with this other candidate. Why? Because they are responsible.
Because it shows a behavior. Yeah, we should repeat that. I'm not sure people know that. That's absolutely correct. Is that now your FICO score actually has an impact on what kind, or if you're eligible for that job.
For those that don't know what FICO is that the fiduciary score? Basically, that
your credit score,
correct?
That's right.
Exactly. So now,
your cell phone can cost you more if your FICO score is not good. That will resonate with a lot of young people. Your car payments will be more.
Is it a misconception or is a fact that Hispanics, Latinos here in the U.S. don't care so much about their credit or don't know about it?
I would say don't know about it.
I don't think that not to generalize, but a lot of people don't know how it works.
Yeah.
How you can, what affects your FICO score to either being raised or being lowered. But I think people who do have a higher FICO score are very proud of it and work very hard for it.
Absolutely.
And keep it. But back to the education, starting in the home, how much of that then is translated to their kids and helping their kids with their FICO score and get good credit? Not every parent is doing that. And when we go back to the education, not only are the junior high should be doing that, I think it also would behoove the banking system, the local banks here, to have education classes for young people and explain to them and teach them how money works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're getting themselves new clients.
Exactly.
And how important the credit score is, because a lot of people that come from where there hasn't been 3 or 4 generations are not used to dealing with credit at all. My grandmother they paid for the house, or they saved until they could afford the car. That's the generation. You know, there's 3, and there is a gap, and that's why they're not aware. It's not because they don't want to. It's not because they don't care. They know the importance. They just have never been taught, because they didn't need it. But now in the States, credit is very important for your future and your family's future and what you can contribute to the world. And that resonates with people.
And it's not a lot of common knowledge where you can get your FICO score, but you can get your credit score at myficoscore.com.
Right.
Just so that you know, and especially with identity theft, that it's an all-time high.
Yeah.
Now thieves break into homes, not necessarily to get the stereo or to get the big TV. They break in to get your Social Security. They break in to get personal information, to get your credit. And driver's licenses, Social Security, and all of that. Critical that all that information is placed in a safe, and that you have a mental note of those numbers in your head. That way, nobody can break into your combination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't write it on the safe.
Don't write it
On the refrigerator door. No.
All my passwords.
I know.
We have on the phone Abigail Support, so I'd like to welcome Abigail to the call. Abigail, good afternoon, probably for you. You're in the East Coast, I believe, so thank you so much for joining. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can definitely hear you. Thank you all for having me on the line. I'm on the East Coast, so right now it is the afternoon, but it is a pleasure to be with you guys today.
Thank you so much, Abigail. Can you please give us just a quick rundown, because we're going to be going on break in about 2 minutes or so, but just a quick breakdown on what your function is. I know you have a function as well at LULAC, but you're the Executive Director for a Secure Retirement, and you're based out of D.C. Can you give us just a quick breakdown on what your function is?
Sure thing. So my name is Abigail Support. I'm the Executive Director for Latinos for a Secure Retirement. And Latinos for a Secure Retirement was actually created back in 2011 to continue to protect Social Security for the Latino elderly, but as well as being able to bring more benefits and expand Social Security and really bring the Latino community to the forefront on these issues, because we do know that the Latino community right now is a very young demographic at 27 years old. So if we make that cultural change now and make sure that our community is safe for retirement, I think that we'll be able to really make a difference once our generation gets to that point to retirement. We are part of a coalition that includes LULAC, LACLA, Hispanic Federation, and 7 other organizations that represent the 50 million Latinos across the country.
That is fantastic. Well, thank you so much for the work you do at national level. It is very important to educate our young Latinos, the importance of finances, securing their retirement, and just in general, any type of finances, having good finances out there. So thank you so much for joining us, Abigail.
Good
but
morning.
We're talking about the importance of education. Does it start at school? Does it start at home? What is your thought about that?
So education really does start at home, right? I think that a lot of the values instilled into our community as a whole is because of the matriarchs in our family. What we've really seen is that Latinas are the ones that take that stronghold in their households, and we know that to pursue a better, or the best equalizer in the United States is an education, and we do know that through getting an education, you're able to get better pay. You're able to get all of these resources to be able to, to be more financially stable. But there are a couple of things that, that are creating a couple of challenges for our community, and that is student debt, which I hope to continue to get into that topic further along in the conversation.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Abby. We are going to have to go on break right now, so thank you, everyone, for joining and listening and watching us on Facebook Live. You're listening to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. We will be right back.
Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome back to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. I'm Alex Juarez, sitting in for David Parra. And welcome everybody else that's watching us. Remember, you can send us questions via Facebook Live as well, or you can call the studio at 602-759-1910. Take advantage with these beautiful experts that are telling us, giving us good information about retirement and the importance of finances. Finances in Order is the episode today. We're going to go back to Abigail. Abigail, Latinos are less likely to be prepared for retirement. True or false?
100% true. And one of the reasons why that is happening is because, as a Latino community, as an immigrant community, a lot of Latinos are low-income workers, low-income wage workers, and on top of that, they're within these workplaces there isn't the access to be able to get 401k plan, just a plan to make it easier for Latinos to be able to save up money, which really, causes huge challenges when it does come down to the time to be able to retire.
Yes.
Abby, I was looking at one of your bullet points on your presentation that a whopping 69% of Latinos working age households do not have assets in retirement accounts, compared to 37% of white households. That is very staggering.
It's tremendous, yeah. And I think it's really going to take us sending that message to the Latino community to really let everybody know that this is the financial state of the entire community. If we don't take a hold of educating our entire community, if us as experts, as people that can communicate and do all the outreach, once we let them know, like, this is your situation, we need to fix it. And one of the ways that Latinos for a Secure Retirement is doing this, we just got really great funding to have 20 cafecitos across the country. These are going to be in key markets such as New York City, Miami, Dallas, LA, Phoenix, and a couple of other places. And these are really going to be to start the conversation for the community, just to start saying, okay, this is how I'm able to plan for my retirement. And the second portion of that is to actually be able to help older Latinos access their Social Security benefits. Once we create that merge of both benefits, I think that we'll really be able to be prepared for retirement when it does come.
Very good. So let's talk about 401ks and why Latinos don't take advantage of the 401ks. Or maybe is it that maybe they work for an organization, a small company that doesn't offer that? Mm-hmm. So the topic of work and save.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Where are we today in that, Abby?
So in that regards, again, like you mentioned, the biggest problem is that Latinos don't have the access to retirement tools, right? The 401k. My mom, she worked fast food for a very long time. For about 15 years, and there's no access there. And we know that a lot of our immigrant community works in restaurants, again, in low income or low wage places. But not only that, once in our culture and in the Latino community, when we want to buy something, we save up and we pay for that, right? We're a very cash based community.
That's it.
So when someone says, okay, give us a percentage of your paycheck, we'll match it, and you'll receive this, 40 years from now, 30 years from now, when you retire, when you're 67 years old. In the community, we don't think that far ahead. If we want to buy a house, we save up to buy a house. If we want to buy a car, we save up to buy the car. And so it's really going to have to be that cultural change and that cultural shift. And it really does have to start with our younger Latinos to let them know that these are programs that they should be counting on when they go and get a new job, that they should really start taking advantage of these things, because it is free money for a huge portion. And not only that, but to let them know that Social Security, we're still working on trying to find the solvency for it, and it's still going to be a really great program once they retire. But at the same time, Social Security was always meant to be to have an additional source, and that would be an independent, whether that's an employee-based plan or individual retirement account, such as an IRA. We need to make sure that our community understands that they also need to add other funding beyond just their Social Security.
So, ladies here in the studio, we've talked about the 401k, the importance of it, but is there classes that people can attend, our young community can learn from? Where can they get more information about this?
Absolutely. At Trellis, we offer financial literacy classes twice a month. It's for a whole day on Saturdays, $25 all day long. Because I do the marketing, I sit in on some of them sometimes to interview them and talk to them at the breaks. And I'm taking notes at the class. We give all kinds of tips and guidelines and formats and even apps. We have experts, and they tell us. I have an app on my phone already that if I have my bucket for my vacation time, let's say, it'll tell me how close I am. It's visual, and our new youth is very visual, so it makes it really easy and fun to track your savings. And we do talk about insurance and savings and planning for now and for the future. So on the 401k topic, Abby's absolutely right. There's the very first thing is access. They haven't had access for enough generations. Second is awareness. They're not aware of how it works. And third is just an issue of trust. Just because of the culture, the Hispanic community isn't used to trusting someone else with their money for a lot of different reasons. There's still a lot of predatory loans and a lot of things going on. Arizona's the number 2 state in the United States for theft, credit card and ID theft, which is incredible to me. Yeah. I didn't know that until yesterday. So there's a lot of reasons why that hasn't been used, but we do see that shifting, and there is a lot of financial literacy classes available.
Right.
Some for free.
I teach. I've been a volunteer for the past 5 years as a financial literacy instructor at the YWCA. And they do focus on financial literacy, which encompasses the 401k, the FICO scores, buying homes. So if you want to be informed, seek out the community services available. Google who can help. Now there's so much access online that you can educate yourself. Saying, I don't know, is no longer an option for any of us. Knowing that there is so much information out there. Just last week, we attended Datos, and just finding more out about our economy is just mind-blowing. Some of the notes that I took was that here in Arizona, Latinos produce 51.1 billion, that's with a B, in purchasing power. And, it's not necessarily how much we make. It's about how much we save, how much we are disciplined enough to put away. Can we, as age 24, start putting away a 10%, a 15%? And that should be non-negotiable, regardless of everything that's going on in our lives. Exactly. And not just in Arizona, Latinos play a predominant role in the purchasing power. Worldwide, we are ranked 7% for the GDP in purchasing power. How incredible. So Latinos are present. We do have the power. We just need to use it wisely and with discipline. Yeah. One other area that I was very impressed by, as far as those facts, is that a third of Arizona's businesses are Latina owned.
Yes, that's impressive. That's great.
So we were very happy.
Really
so that puts us in there.
That's why we're here on a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Hooray
we care.
That. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
Latina power.
And when we're talking about savings, it's not necessarily just 401k, David. We're also ingrained 401k. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to invest in a 401k because I may lose my money. I don't trust my market. I don't trust the new economy. I don't trust the new president. There are so many other funding methods to educate ourselves in a vehicle to save for our future.
So, Abby, this is another staggering statistic that I just saw here, that Latino households have substantially lower retirement savings than white households, regardless of their age and income. 4 out of 5 Latino households ages 25 to 64 have less than $10,000 in retirement, compared to 1 out of 2 white households. That is staggering. We need to change that.
Yeah, that goes really fast, too.
That really does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When we get back from the break, then, Abby, if you can please touch on that and how we can change that. One of the things that we're trying to do at AARP is pass legislation across the nation in different states. And I believe 2 states have already done that, but it's a work and save program where a 401k is not offered by an employer. It's basically a state plan. It's ran by the state. And it's a program that really works for those people that don't have access to a 401k. So we're trying to pass that legislation. It's not going to be easy,
Yeah,
especially here
that'd
in
be great.
Arizona, but we're working really hard to try to change that legislation. I know
Yeah, that
that's one
seems
of the priorities that Dana Kennedy, our
super
boss,
logical.
has, and we're going to work hard in 2018 for that. So with that,
Nice.
we are going to go on break. We will be right back. You're listening to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
To AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. We're having a real lively discussion over here. We love it. So thank you so much for joining us today. We're in the last segment of the hour. So thank you so much for joining us, for watching us on Facebook Live. This is Alex Juarez with AARP, and thank you for joining us today. Abby, Latino households have substantially lower retirement savings than white households. Why is that, and how do we change that?
Right. I think, before we went on break, we brought up a really great point about these work and save programs, right? Again, I preach access and access and access because our community, again, doesn't have the access to do these things. But at the same time, if we're pressuring our legislators to provide a pathway to work and to save and to provide families, not only Latino families, but Latino families all across the country, to be able to have the programs available to be able to save. But I think another really good way to be able to do this as well is to be conscious about your saving throughout every single year. For folks that are looking into getting, we all do our taxes every single year. A lot of our Latino families do get a tax refund. And we think if we start looking at those tax refunds that are coming in every year, we need a plan in advance to save some part of that tax refund, to also have a separate account so that we can always have a savings account, whether every week, every time you get paid, you save 5% of that, even save $5 of that. It's still going to continue to accrue to be able to make sure that people have something in their pockets to be able to save when they do eventually retire. And then another quick tip as well is for those of us that do have a automatic deposit once we get paid, to make sure that some of that money is also put into a separate account, an account that you can't touch, an account that can eventually, once it builds up, to be put into an IRA or to be put into a different kind of account to be able to accrue interest. Because if we really start young, if we start building that process for our entire family, to really, again, change that culture and do that shift. If we start putting that or giving that information to our younger folks, I really think that by the time that those folks do get to the retirement age, they will be properly, have a good deal amount of money to be able to retire securely.
And Abby, I think you mentioned something really important. It's the change of culture, the way that we think, the way that we approach our life, our retirement, our savings, etc. So thank you for that. Yoli, one of the things that I think as Latinos, we don't do a very good job is planning our life insurance.
Right.
What are we doing to change that? Are you doing anything in particular with it?
Right. I am teaching at the YWCA, and I do several presentations and seminars across the country and also nationally. Life insurance is certainly one of those areas that Latinos usually don't want to talk about. I think they feel that if they talk about it, then something bad's going to happen. But going back to education, it is critical that they understand that what we do for them is that we plan to secure their lifestyle so it continues, the house that they work so hard to get, that it is included into a plan where not only is the income going to be preserved, but also the future of the education of our future teachers, the children, doctors, the future citizens. Who is going to care for this family unit if they're not having these conversations with their agents, their financial advisors? It is so critical that they see life insurance as a plan B. Because when somebody passes away, David, what happens is it's not only just the grief of losing that person, we also lose that income. You go from having 100% of income to 0% of income. Right. How is that a plan? That's not a plan. Where is your plan B? Let's replace that. Let's project out 10 years of income. Let's project out that your house is going to be paid for. Let's project that your children are going to have an education, that you are going to continue in the standard of living. And this is not just for our Hispanic Latino community. This happens all the way to Wall Street.
Absolutely.
That they're making 7 figures over there. They get run by a car. Guess what? There's no more Ivy League schools in that family unit. Excellent. They're back at the regular college if they can afford it. Excellent. And just bringing this home, one of my nephews his father passed away, and his father had been financing the education. Right. So going to law school was not in the plan anymore after the father had passed away. They had insurance, but it was only through work. So it is critical that we not only rely on our work insurance, because sometimes they find out that it was only $10,000.
Yeah.
And sometimes, guess what? That's not even just going to cover the funeral.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Let alone pay off the house, the education, the standard of living, the income. So very critical. And yes, we're passionate about it because we see the difference that we make in our community. We don't want to see the tias in the corner saying, the children crying, help me bury so-and-so, please donate $5 while they're washing cars. It does not have to be that way for our community. Somebody says, I've asked this question, how much would you like to be insured for? What is your magical number? And out of just being a cynic, they'll say $1 million, right? Well, sometimes that $1 million will be as low as maybe $120, and their eyes just pop out. It's just a lack of information. But get into your agent, whoever you're with. Have those wonderful conversations. What is it going to take for me to protect my family when I am not here tomorrow?
It's the importance of talking to experts, to educating ourselves on it. Mm-hmm. Delia, let's personalize this. Do you have any, with your clients, do you have a story of somebody that has struggled with savings and that has changed the outlook completely based on maybe some education that they received?
Oh, yes, definitely. When we speak to our clients, and Yoli, as well with her clients, is when we speak to our clients and we bring up the topic of life insurance, many times they're very wary of it. Even though statistics show that 69% of Hispanics do have a fear of an unexpected death. But it doesn't prompt us into action to say, well, if I'm afraid of dying, I really should get life insurance. So it takes sometimes, some more education and just walking them through it. This is the way life insurance works. There's a difference between term insurance and permanent insurance, and how all of that works, and how it can also work for them with the cash values and such. And especially when you have wives who have been stay-at-home moms for 15 years. If that husband dies, like Yoli said, then what's going to happen? If that wife doesn't have anything to fall back on, even if it's a small life insurance policy where she can say, okay, I have 2 or 3 months where I can at least think about what my game plan is going to be. If they have nothing, then what are they going to do? Right. They're going to have to get a low wage menial job. And what's going to happen with the kids? Who's going to be watching the kids while you're at work? It just brings a lot of different issues into the family that they didn't have before for a lack of planning.
Yeah.
So I do have a lot of clients that once we speak to them and I explain to them how it works, and it doesn't have to be so much money, because they all have this misconception that it's going to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month.
Yes.
And they say, oh, so for this amount of money, maybe one less eating out a month is going to protect my family? Well, I would be negligent not to do it.
Exactly.
So that's very important.
I think we need to all understand
empowering.
the difference that it makes starting at a young age.
Yes.
Savings when we retire. And it's a huge difference. If we start late in the game compared to if we start young.
That's right.
And that's the mindset that we have to have our young Latinos think of.
That's right.
So we have less than 5 minutes, so we're just going to go around the table real fast. Maybe just a quick snap, maybe a tip on how we can change this, maybe a tip on savings. I mean, I keep reading some of these statistics, and it just blows my mind. In 2014 or so, white workers between the ages of 32 and 61 had an average of $125,000 in retirement savings, compared to $26,500 for blacks and $16,800 for Hispanics.
Incredible.
Asians had approximately $100,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a huge gap.
It is.
Yeah.
Abby, we're going to start with you. Any tips, anything else that we need to do to change this mindset?
Yeah, I think that, I keep going back to that cultural shift, and I think that that's something that has to be a priority for all of us. For us that are a little bit older, is to make sure that we pass it along to our own families, right? Like everything starts in la casa. And if we continue to spread that message to everybody else and say, hey, make sure that you start a savings account. Make sure that you put in 1% of your paycheck into your 401k. Maybe create an IRA and make sure that you're putting some money into that. I think if we really, really want to focus on changing all of this, it would have to start with our young folks.
Great tips,
Yeah.
great suggestions. Sandra?
Yeah, and because the young folks are so socially connected, it will change quickly. So my tips are 3 A's. Number 1, become aware of all the different programs that are out there. Lots of free information. Get a partner. That's become aware. Shift our attitude. Instead of thinking, oh, I'm giving money away, I'm giving $20 or $25 of my paycheck. Look at it as I'm empowering myself to do other things later. So that's attitude. And then the third is take action. So we need to be more proactive instead of reactive about our futures. So become aware, shift your attitude, and take some action. 3 A's.
I love it. That's great.
That's wonderful.
Jolie.
Yes. There's a very simple formula within our industry that works so well, and it's something where if you look at your income, it's 100% of a pie, like a pizza pie, and you take out a 3% sliver of that pie and you set it aside and you purchase life insurance with that. Rest assured that when you are gone, that 3% will cover 97% of your income long after you're gone. So that 3% is going to substitute the earnings for many years.
Nice.
Yeah, so that is number 1.
That's a good way to put it.
Number 2 is take a look at your benefits. Don't just get the page and say, oh, here we go, benefits again, and set it aside and forget about it. Take responsibility. Take financial responsibility for your actions. When you find out that your life insurance is only $5,000, ask yourself, how far will that $5,000 take your family? And lastly, run a credit score. You want to know where you're at so that you understand everything in that page and read over it and understand where you're at financially and take it from there.
Delia?
So I would suggest maximizing on those 401ks if you have the opportunity to do so. Also, speak to your local agent because they can give you avenues outside of your work to plan for retirement because you may not be in that job forever. So speak with an outside agent who can help you with the retirement and the life insurance portion.
That is fantastic. Great suggestions, great tips. I want to thank our experts.
Thank you.
Abby,
for
thank you
having
so
us.
much for joining from the East Coast. Thank you for taking the time. I know you have a very busy schedule. So thank you so much for joining. And we hope to have you on the show again sometime soon.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
And Sandra and Jolie and Delia, it's
you.
been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you,
So
Alex.
thank you so much for your expertise, for everything you do on the community. And again, we want to thank our leadership at AARP for believing in this platform, AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. It is a very important platform to educate, to convene, and to basically get our Hispanic community together. We need to
That's
be a
right.
united force. So thank you again to Edna, Kane Williams, to Yvette Peña, to Dana Kennedy, and every single person that has believed in this platform. This is Alex Juarez for AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. You've been listening at 1190 a.m. and hope to hear you or see you again sometime soon. And next week, David Parra will be again here in the controls. Thank you so much and have a wonderful weekend.
Arizona Hispanic Connection.